My next guest has shared the stage with Miley Cyrus, 5 Seconds of Summer, Seal and John Farnham. He was musical director for the Veronicas and he's recorded with Jimmy Barnes, Icehouse and Killing Heidi, to name a few. He's about to play Jesus in the Australian tour of Jesus Christ Superstar. Welcome to Showtime, Michael Paynter.
Hello, mate. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, look, thanks so much for coming. Love to chat to you about Jesus Christ Superstar, which is a really important musical to me and so many people. But love to chat to you about, all things music. And you started off in clubs, didn't you?
Yeah, playing just in rock, dirty, sweaty, emo rock bands in clubs and places around the country. I did that from probably when I was about 17 to when I sort of became a little more popish, I guess you could say. Doing it a long time.
And you've been on stage with some, massive names, Jimmy Barnes, John Farnham, Icehouse, Hall & Oates. How have those experiences influenced your style, do you reckon?
Oh, massively. Yeah, I've had the privilege of playing in Icehouse and with Jimmy. I play guitar in both those bands. And still am. I told them I decided to take a 12-month long service leave, so hopefully they'll have me back when the show's done. Just sort of, I always say, one night I get to sing Great Southern Land and the next night it's Working Class Man. So look, I'm pretty spoiled, and the fact that I get to sort of sit there and watch two of the all-time greatest songwriter, performer, pop star voices this country has ever produced, and I get to sort of be 6 feet from them on stage every night in amazing venues all around the world. That is something that I definitely don't take for granted, and I'm very aware would have and continues to have a huge impact on me as a performer, for sure.
What do you reckon got you falling in love with music originally?
Who knows, mate? What got you falling in love with theatre? That's one of those things that...
Do you know what? I can tell you that. It was actually Jesus Christ Superstar back in 1992. Watching John Farnham and John Stephen at what was then Flinders Park, what's now Rod Laver Arena.
There you go. Yeah, no, look, I think it's just one of those things for me that's just in the blood. Always has been. Sort of got the sickness at an early age and wasn't able to shake it, so still going.
What would you tell 10-year-old Michael now?
Just keep going.
Yeah.
Don't listen to what anybody else says. Follow your heart. Take advice, but learn quickly to listen, to shut up and listen, and in equal measure follow your gut. I think that's the ultimate dichotomy in this business, is knowing when to follow your heart against all advice and when to take advice. That's if I could have a pill that would I could take so that I would know the difference between those two moments, I would take it immediately.
And advice is just advice, isn't it? At the end of the day, you've got to make the call because you're the one who's living the life.
Yep, true. There's equal moments in my life when I look back on my career and think, I wish I had have just done what I felt was right, and I sort of knew in my heart of hearts I should have done. And then there's just as many, probably more, to be honest, where I thought I wish I had listened to what that person that was far more experienced than me told me, and I would have avoided a lot of pain. So, yeah. So
you're about to join Jesus Christ Superstar when it comes to Melbourne in March.
Yep.
It's not a new show. It's over 50 years old now. But what do you think it is that it makes it so timeless?
Every time I'm asked this question, I always just say the same answer, and it's the songs. I think that the songs are extraordinary, and I'm a songwriter and a producer for my other job now. So my ideal in songs, and one song can change the world. It can change somebody's life. And when you've got a show like this, which is actually, you would know, not a show. It's actually a concept album. So it was never written to be a musical. It was always written to be 19 songs or whatever it is, played back to back and enjoyed and sung along to. So I think that just sets it apart right there. It's one of the few musicals that didn't start as a musical. It started as a record. So the music is
that's it, wasn't it? It was 1972, I think. It was a record. It was just there to listen to. No pictures other than the pictures in your mind. unlike, movies that are adapted into musicals or books that are adapted into musicals. It's a musician's musical, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it is. My mum was a big fan of it when she was younger. She's peak boomer, and she said that she used to lie on the floor of her lounge room with her 4 brothers and sisters, close all the windows, turn off the lights, crank the stereo, and just lie on the floor and listen to the thing from top to bottom. So that's exactly, there was no pictures that created it in your mind. And I think it just became so successful. They had a couple of goes at trying to turn it into a musical, and the first couple weren't very successful. And it wasn't until they brought it to Australia in '72 with Trevor and Marsha and John English, when that version, when they found that it could really work, and sort of they took it back overseas, and it became until Cats bet it was the longest running show at the time. So. Yeah,
and that's it. It's got a long-standing Aussie tradition too, as you say. It was at the Palais Theatre in St Kilda back in the very
capital
early
in Sydney,
70s.
where we were able to do it, so it was great.
Of course, you performed with John Farnham, and back in 1992, he played Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar, the role that you're walking into now. How has John's performance, if at all, influenced your approach to the role?
Oh, massively. That was the only reason I considered this. I'm not even though I'm sitting here on a theatre podcast, God knows how that happened, I'm not a theatre guy. I've never have been. I've never acted. I've never done a musical. I've seen a couple of musicals because my kids wanted to go, and loved them. But it's never been part of sort of my makeup as a musician until recently. So the only reason when I was approached about the role, I always say, look, the chance to in any way continue and springboard off the legacy that John has left and continue it and remind people of it, and add to it, hopefully, in my own way. That's just a huge honour, and that's the dream for me. So it was an opportunity that was too good to pass up.
How are you finding the transition from muso on a stage with people that are coming to see you and the artists that you're working with on stage, to being part of a musical and telling a story, and particularly a story like, well, the story itself is thousands of years old, obviously, but this version of the story with its 50-year legacy, how are you finding navigating that as a muso?
That's a great question. I think there's many similarities, and especially in the early days of the Sydney season, before we know. I'm 100 shows in now, Andrew, so I'm an old hat now. But, so I think at the start in particular, I just tried to remind myself that it's just another gig. It's just, a few thousand more people in a dark room like I've done however many thousands of times before. So there's a lot of similarities about, if I feel like as a singer, or as a musician, if you can't move yourself, if you're not moved yourself, you can't move anyone else. So I think that, I tried to remind myself just to sort of stay connected to the music and the songs, and just to sing it from the heart, so that has been a great transfer. But doing the same thing at the same time, with the same people, in the same clothes, at the same place, 8 times a week for 4 months, that's a type of monotonous discipline that I haven't come across yet. So that's been an interesting journey for me. But there's been a lot of fresh challenges and a lot of new things, which I'm very happy to now have part of my skill set as an artist. It's been super valuable, and it's been great.
And you say that, Michael, same costumes, same setting, same dark room. How do you keep yourself from kicking into autopilot? How do you keep yourself engaging with the audience night after night? And of course, many of them seeing it for the very first time.
Look, I think it would be it wouldn't be genuine to say that there is no element of autopilot. I think there always is, even in gigs. I think that's what makes the greats. Not calling myself a great, but when you see the great artists, like if you see Mick Jagger singing Satisfaction, I can guarantee you there is 90% of that performance which he's doing he's probably thinking about catering or his whiskey that's sitting backstage. So I think what makes the greats is that they can sort of be in that sort of, as you said, autopilot place, but still be connected, still be great. So there's definitely elements of autopilot which come in and which are helpful, because you don't have energy 8 times a week to sort of have everything new and experience and try everything different and feel every whip and every lash and every tearful moment, you can't feel them as deeply as you'd want to doing it once or twice. You do it 100 times. There's just no possible way that you can deal with that. So I think the element of autopilot is a skill and a tool that I think a great performer knows when and how to use.
And of course, it's an incredible lineup alongside you in this show. There's Javon King as Judas, Mahalia Barnes as Mary, Reuben Kaye as Herod. Must be a lot of fun working with these people.
Unbelievable. Yeah, the Crossroads have cast it exceptionally well. So props to them for that. I think they just have absolutely knocked it out of the park. I think that there is people in here that are just born to do it. So I think, as much as I'm enjoying doing my role, I think that there are people like Mary Mahalia. I don't think anybody has done Mary like the way she does it. It is so unique. And she just brings an old soul in a young body to this show, and sings. When she opens her mouth to sing "I Don't Know How to Love Him," she makes it sound like it's like a gothic chant. It sounds like the song is thousands of years old. It's just, there is a weight and a depth and a complexity and a vulnerability, but such a power about the way she sings it, which I don't think is very often present in theatre, because she's not a theatre singer either, she's a soul singer. So I think that her skill set is very well utilised in that role.
Can't wait to see it in Melbourne. I'm chatting with Michael Paynter, who is playing Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar. The show's now playing in Perth. It opens in Melbourne at the Princess Theatre on the 16th of March before heading off to Brisbane in June. For more info and tickets, go to jesuschristsuperstarmusical.com.au. Michael, thank you so much for the chat, and all the very best for the rest of the tour.
Thank you, Matt. It's great to have everybody so keen to see it, and the interest in people that have seen it before and want to not be disappointed, and the interest in people that have never seen it. They're both exciting. So looking forward to bringing it to Melbourne.
Can't wait. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, mate.